All right, next up, Danny Sprinkle, one and done in Logan. What the hell's going on in Logan? Everyone's terrified of this Mormon culture. Every coach they bring in. Well, Craig Smith was like, no, he just wants more money. He's okay with the Mormon culture. He just went right down the road to Salt Lake City. But then they bring in Ryan Odom, son of Dave, and he goes, he's there for a year or two, wins a lot of games. He goes, let me get the fuck out of here. Go back to the East Coast. And then Danny Sprinkle, 1 year in Logan. He's out. He's heading to Seattle. I'll say this in regards to Washington. I think it's the best hire they've done in a long time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's going to work out. Like, I do get it. Like, I am impressed that he took a brand new roster. Like, every single person on that roster he brought in. It's not like taking over a team that, I know Utah State had success 2 years ago. He had none of that, and he brought it in. And then also the fact that he took Montana State to back-to-back NCAA tournaments, and then his assistant took him this year. Tells me a little bit of something. I wasn't, Mike Hopkins thing, and then what's my guy's name from Pepperdine? That was the previous Washington coach, Romar. To me, those were splash hires that didn't have a lot of fuel in the, like they just. It was a good headline.
Yeah,
in my opinion, shitty coaches. So I think it's more exciting to bring in Danny Sprinkle than those two hires. Do I think it will work out? I don't know, because you also have Washington going to the fucking Big Ten, and even though I think they could have success there, because the Big Ten I think has been shitty of late when it comes to college basketball conferences, that road schedule is going to be fucking insane. So I'll be honest. I kind of think this is I like the resume probably the most out of the three, just because he's done it at two different places. But Washington's about to enter something we've never seen, where they play most of their games in like the Eastern and Central time zones. Yeah. And I think that is going to make it hard for us to get a gauge on if, how good of a coach is he? Cause I do think they're going to be at quite a handicap. I kind of like it though. I give this one a B, I do think there's a chance he's fired in 5 years. Probably a decent chance, but I would love it a lot more. I would give it an A if they were in the Pac-12 next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think they did about as good as they were going to do. I mean, this has turned into a hard job going to the Big Ten because geographically travel. I like that Sprinkle's won at multiple programs now. Montana State, Utah State. Obviously, he knows how to use the portal with what he did at Utah State, returning 0 guys, bringing his guys over. I'm sure he'll bring a couple more guys from Utah State to Washington now. But yeah, I'd probably B-.
Dude, it's Pac-12. I think this is an A.
Yeah.
Now they're entering this gray zone where I'm like, how are all these teams going to be when they go play so many? How are they going to do the scheduling? I'm so curious about all of them. Oregon, UCLA, USC. It's like, you're going to have to play a shit ton of your games on the East Coast.
Yeah. I just
in the East. Yeah.
I think I like that. It's not like the sexy hire that they've done over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So Sprinkle, he earned this opportunity, in my opinion, with his last 2 years.
I mean, his overall record, he's never had a losing season. His overall record's 109-50, but I mean, I guess I would have liked to see maybe another year at Utah State personally, but Nick, what do you make of Danny Sprinkle to Washington?
I mean, I think the ability to craft a team on the fly cannot be understated in today's college basketball. So what he did this year was just remarkable. And the flip side of the Big Ten coin that you guys are talking about here is that now Washington's going to have really deep pockets, and it's going to be more national exposure. They're going to be on TV more. There's not going to be any East Coast bias towards them. So I think it's actually the right time to jump onto Washington because expectations are also low. The Huskies haven't been good in years. So I think compared to Michigan and West Virginia, I think expectations are lower there. So give him a couple of years. Let him work that transfer portal. Let them spend and use the newfound money that they're going to have. I think it's a great hire. So I'm going to give this one an A.
I guess you're kind of swaying me here, where now that I think about it, with that Big Ten money coming in, that influx, They've always been fucking talented, whether it was Romar, whether it was Hopkins. Maybe I can talk myself into an A.
But you're right, though. It would have been nice to see him at least for 2 years at Utah State.
That's why
then you would.
But it's so impressive to bring in a whole new fucking team and win the regular season title against when you have San Diego State, who's like a blue blood in this conference. That was super impressive to me. It's actually probably more impressive than any of the other coaches that we've talked about so far. As far as like for 1 year, to me to walk into a brand and bring in a brand new roster and win the regular season title.
That's more important now than ever because you're going to have so much roster turnover from year to year.
Yeah, yeah.